you going to play in the final? Who do you think?
I think the Heat are on a bit of a roll at the minute. Scorchers have played enough finals over the last few years, so I'd like to come up against the Heat.
So, change of scenery for a team no more successful than Sydney Sixers, I suppose. But they've beaten you once, you've beaten them once, but it's been a long time since you played them, and they've got a few new people into their lineup. Marnus Labuschagne did all right the other night. Always a character on the field. Would you make of his performance in that win against Adelaide?
Yeah, he's obviously bowling pretty well at the minute and taking wickets, and he's one of those players with the bat that sort of can anchor the innings a little bit, but yet still finish off a game. But might have to work some earplugs out in the field. He's been carrying on a bit with the ball in hand while he's been on the mic, just hamming it up a little bit. So yeah, he's been playing well for them. So yeah, no doubt he'll come out and put on a good performance against the Scorchers.
I know there's more questions about the Big Bash, but obviously the big news is the tour that you were going to go on to South Africa is now off or postponed. Have you been told what that actually means? Is there still a chance, do you know, if it will still go ahead?
As far as I'm aware, it's just been postponed, and given the environment we're in, we're just going to have to play it by ear, I suppose. And if there's an opportunity to play that series in the future, then I'm sure CA will do everything that they can to make sure that series goes ahead. But obviously for the guys who are on that tour, it's a pretty big domestic season. For us New South Wales players, we've got another 5 Shield games and some Marsh Cup games as well with that starting. So New South Wales back at full strength, so I might struggle to get a game. I might be running drinks for the rest of the year again, but pretty big year for domestic cricket, given that tour's off now.
But for you, back in the fold, it would have been nice to go to South Africa.
Yeah, absolutely. I was chomping at the bit to get over there and play. Obviously, the 3 guys, the 3 quicks who were playing there who played this series against India, some of the world's best at the minute, and they're in pretty good form. And then even a couple of guys on the bench like Jimmy Pattinson, are world-class bowlers. So although it was, there's lots of competition, and the likelihood would have been that I wouldn't have played it. It's a test series for your country, and pretty disappointed that it's not going ahead.
Well, I suppose you can understand. You read the newspapers. We know the situation in South Africa and the UK. I suppose safety comes first, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the medical staff at CA and the people that made the decision to just looking out for our health and well-being, and if it's too dangerous for us to go over, then they're going to make that call as they've done, and not take too many chances. So yeah, it's disappointing to not go over, but at the end of the day, people are just trying to look after us.
Are you on standby for the white ball T20 and one-day series in New Zealand now in the wake of this postponement in the Test series?
No, unfortunately, we can't bridge players back into that team just because of the protocols to keep people and the country we're going to safe. And those protocols started, as I understand, a couple of weeks ago. So even though we're playing with guys like Josh Felipe and some other guys that may be on standby, we can't bridge back into that hub, unfortunately. So miss out on South Africa and miss out on the white ball tour as well. But
the other way, those who are now not going to South Africa, they might have been saving themselves for that tour. Is there a chance they could come in and potentially play in the Big Bash final?
No, we're set on our squad for the Big Bash final. I'm not sure about the other teams, but yeah, we've got our squad finalised for the game on Saturday, so we're fit and raring to go.
He's going to get a decent crowd for the final at the SCG. I mean, that surely is, in this form of cricket, that's a big help. Yeah,
it's a home game obviously for us, and we've got an awesome supporter base. Like I've said in the past before, every game we play at the SCG, you'd be signing autographs after the game, and there's always some parents who have brought their kids down, and then their kids' friends from 8 hours away, and they're either just come down for the game or they're going to stay the night. So we do know the effort that our fans go to come down and support us. And I think I read this morning or yesterday that capacity, we're at 75% capacity for the game. So, and we're sold out as well. I think we're releasing more tickets today though, hopefully. So yeah, that's obviously a big boost for us over the weekend.
How nice is it to be back in Sydney after what's been such a long sort of whip around Australia?
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's probably made mention of how tough it's been being in the bubble, and it has its moments. Although there's opportunities to strengthen relationships with players who you might not have in the past. But given we're sort of for the most part confined to our hotel room, there's definitely been times for bonding between the team. But to be able to come home and sort of see family from a distance still, but still be able to see them and then have them come and support on Saturday night. It's been a huge boost for the team, especially guys with young families. Like the captain Mo, he's not seen his 1-year-old for quite a while, so that was a pretty big boost even for us to see that.
How long has it been since you've seen family and friends? Like you would have been in the white ball series against India back in November.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have my girlfriend Briere in the hub with this for the Test series, but yeah, I mean it's been pretty tough, and like I said, there's been 1 or 2 days where you felt like you've confined to the 4 walls of your hotel room and it's quite claustrophobic, but quite fortunate to have the group that we have at the Sixers and in the Australian white ball and Test setup. Everyone's quite close with each other. We've been playing cricket for a long time now, and here at the Sixers we've had the same sort of core players for quite a while now, and we're quite a close bunch, so pretty fortunate in that regard, and that's definitely helped.
Do you know how much of a break you'll get between the final here and the Sheffield Shield now? Will you get to go home and spend a bit of time there? Or?
Yeah, I'm unsure about what protocols and things will be put in place for the rest of the Shield season, and that may change tomorrow and the next day. But we're from Sunday. I think we're right to go and see family, which will be a huge boost. So I'll be jumping in the car and going out and catching up with everyone. So hopefully a week or 2 at home. Just to put the wheels up and enjoy spending time with family and friends would be great.
That's the change of environment from coming from such a disappointing camp that was the loss to India to coming into the high-flying Sydney Sixers. As one of the few that experienced both, is it almost a breath of fresh air to be back in a winning environment?
Yeah, I mean, not a breath of fresh air. Me and Moe sort of felt like with things were going so well for the Sixers and the guys playing such good cricket that we almost felt like we, how do we integrate as seamlessly as possible and not disrupt what's going so well. But although the results of the Test series were pretty disappointing, that's certainly we could see, or I could see, as someone who wasn't in the playing 11 and could sort of take a step back without having eyes on me and look back at how everyone was taking it. It certainly lit a fire in the belly for everyone in that change room, and I'm sure that'll be used as motivation for whatever tour comes up next for the Australian Test team. So whilst it's disappointing, I think the guys have already learned a lot from that, and I think that's only going to make them better.
You speak of learning. Justin Langer recently said that he learned a lot. I guess everyone does it when you lose the way Australia did to India. A self-confessed grump is the Australian coach. As someone who was in that inner sanctum, can you give us an insight into what the change room was like at the Australian camp and how full-on can JL be at times?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been well noted how passionate JL is about the Australian cricket team, and he holds himself to a very high standard. And I was lucky enough to, when we came back from the UK, we had 2 weeks quarantine in Adelaide, a smaller training group, but sort of with the same coaching staff we had in the UK, and it was a great 2-week experience just to get the head down and train as hard as we can and get to know JL a little bit, and he's very passionate about cricket and the Australian cricket team, and I think the Test series just gone. I think we were obviously tested, not only the coach, but the rest of the coaching staff and the players, and I got to see just how much pressure is on the Australian Test cricket team. It's the pride and joy of Australian sport. So to lose at home and having the 4th game, we lost on the last day at a ground we haven't lost at in 30 odd years, so that's obviously quite disappointing and something that we took hard as a sporting nation. So yeah, like I said a minute ago, that's only going to make us stronger as a playing group, and I think that'll make us a lot better for the long run.
Just a quick one, how are you going to watch the game, the Scorchers Heat game? What are your plans? Just sit back, relax, and hope they rip into each other? Unfortunately,
still in the hotel room. We'll watch that. Almost a bit of scouting, really. Almost a little pre-team meeting, watching the game, seeing what we can pick up on. It's been an exciting game, some explosive cricketers in the game, so expect a fiery match, I reckon.
Did you have a chat with AJ Ty? You obviously know him from the Australian squad after that match?
No, I haven't had the chance to message him yet. I was trying to catch him for a game of Warzone on the PlayStation, but yeah, AJ's. I know him pretty well. He's a very nice guy, so I haven't had the chance to bail him up about that yet. So maybe tonight before the game.
Good luck. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, Shan.
Everyone's sweet. Yep. Mate, have you thought about Andrew Ty every day since it happened?
No, I'm over it. I spoke to a few of their guys who assured me it wasn't on purpose, so yeah, take their word for it. You know, upon reflection, you know, it's more the crowd at the end that you know, made me hungry to get that 100. I said to Hughes at the start of that over just to get the job done, and then the crowd got up and about and went up to him and said, actually, let's not take the run, and then it wasn't to be. But yeah, I've spoken to a few of their guys who assured me he didn't do it on purpose, so I'll run with that for now.
It was obviously that brief moment that you had that interaction as soon as it happened. Did he apologise straight away and put his hand up so that wasn't an accident?
Yeah, I think he did put his arms up. Actually, I can't remember the moment too clearly, to be honest, but J. Roy came up to me as well as I was walking off and sort of congratulated me on the innings, so no, all is good.
Must still feel good. I mean, obviously 100 would have been fantastic, but to finish 98 not out and steer the Sixers into a final must be still a great feeling for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of made smaller contributions throughout the tournament, but to be there at the end and see the guys over the line was a very good feeling, especially finding out we'd be playing at the SCG in the final. Yeah, just gives us a nice week to prepare and you know, watch a game tomorrow night, see who we come up against, but it'd be great to get back to the SCG and play in front of a home crowd.
Any player on the day can fire, but who you identify as the danger man in both sides tomorrow night?
Well, there's quite a few there. Obviously, the two English guys up the top for the Scorchers. If they get going, they can be very destructive, as can the whole of the Scorchers line up. I think the Heat are probably, you know, a bit more balanced in the way their batters line up. A few guys that will, you know, take the game deep, and then a few explosive players. So, looking forward to watching it and seeing who we're going to be coming up against on the weekend.
Who do you think will win? Who do you think you'll be playing? Too hard to call.
Too hard to call. Yeah, I think especially in a knockout game, a one-off game like that, anything can happen. So, yeah, it should be a good one to watch.
Is there much said around the squad about the fact that no Sixers player has ever scored a century yet? I think you got close. Obviously, Josh got close. Daniel got close. That no one's ever quite been able to hit that mark yet.
I only became aware of it, I think, when Flip got 90 odd against the Renegades, was it? Whoever it was, and then Hughesy obviously got close against the Stars, and then myself the other night. So we're aware of it, but there's no real, there's no meaning to it really.
You've obviously been in the Magenta for a little bit now. Do you feel like you're hitting them as well as you ever had since joining the Sixers?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 4 or 5 games have felt in good rhythm. And particularly the other night, you don't often have nights where you feel like you're timing everything and everything seems to be hitting the middle of the bat and you're almost hitting the ball exactly where you want to every time. So yeah, definitely the last sort of towards the back end of the tournament, I felt as good as I have done.
Obviously, it must be lovely coming back to the SCG, but I guess it's a pitch you guys haven't played on all year. You kind of don't know what to expect. As a result, does it make batsmen a bit nervous not knowing what it's going to be like on Saturday night?
No, to be honest, we've had to deal with that the whole way through the tournament. We've hopped from ground to ground. I think at the Gold Coast we maybe had 3 or 4 games there, but not in a row. So it's more so this year, part and parcel of playing cricket. You've got to adapt to conditions, and it'll be no different. Whoever we come up against will be in the same position. So we've done it pretty well all tournament so far. So I don't see why that should change on Saturday.
And just a bit on Flip, batting with him at the top of the order. Obviously, he's a young Australian talent. There's lots to talk about him. But what did you like batting with out there, and compared to some of the other players you've batted with in your career?
No, we seem to bat pretty well together. We've had quite a few decent partnerships up the top there, or when I've been batting 3. I think he said he takes the pressure off really. The way he comes out and hits boundaries from the word go sort of takes the pressure off, and we just keep it pretty simple. We have a bit of a discussion about if there's a certain person we want to target, and then there's sort of no hesitation. We back each other up, and he's a fantastic player, and we just seem to have a good partnership going at the minute.